If you guys are wondering what all that noise is, it's Nikki eating Cheetos.
Someone brought us little bags of Cheetos.
Little bags of Cheetos.
Here's a little Riot, FYI, in case you didn't know about, me and Obi and what are our likes and dislikes. My likes are Cheetos.
Cheetos.
I love it. Even though I dislike the orange stuff that's everywhere afterwards, I really like Cheetos.
Can't you just lick your fingers? Okay, this is a great question. Can you stand the sound of
my
you
own?
licking your own fingers?
I try not to make a noise when I'm doing it.
Okay, because Nikki has that dysphagia or whatever it is that when people lick their fingers, she goes insane.
If they eat and make noise or whatever, I just can't stand it. Can't stand it at all. I break out in hives. It's horrible.
So
if I'm eating Cheetos and I myself
do you
have
give
to clean,
yourself hives?
No, I just don't do that.
Okay.
That's the part that you can do it without making the noise.
But why would you want to?
But why do you have to?
Well, it's not about having to. It's about enjoying doing it.
Well, anyways.
It's a part of the experience.
That's the snack for this post-Riot morning. So hopefully you enjoy your Riot podcast.
So in the podcast, I'm trying to find a movie to watch this week. We talk showers. When should you take them? Nikki decides to pass on the Oculus GO.
At least for now, I just want to see it first.
I find Nikki a great place to vacation this summer. We food fight some kettle corn Oreos. And we talk about a serial pooper.
Oh, that's the story. That is the story.
That's the one, friends.
Make sure you join us at RadioU Riot on Facebook if you haven't followed us there, or RadioU Riot on YouTube. Follow and then notify, click the bell or get notified. So when we do live events or post something for you, you actually will get notified then.
We don't want you to miss it.
Because sometimes, depending on the social media platform, they like to not share it with people. So you want to sign up to get notified so you're all set.
You guys enjoy today.
Have a great day.
Not just this podcast.
But the Cheetos say goodbye. Bye-bye.
Can't stop that. It's the Riot.
Awful. Terrible. Horrible. Pathetic. Someone grab me a thesaurus. I'm gonna need more words to describe how bad these guys are. It's the worst of the Riot on Radio U.
It is the Riot on Radio U. Okay, there's kind of a long story here, but this Friday, if you listen to Radio U in Ohio or Michigan, you're willing to travel, I will say that the Radio U 5K is happening in Westerville.
Yes, and that is
Friday
something
night.
we do each year, and it's one of our favorite things, so that's Friday.
So what that means is, Friday, Nikki and I have the show, then we probably have a little bit of office stuff, and then we kind of have a break in the day, and then we got to come back and work a billion years to get the 5K together.
Sure.
So that being said,
and I wasn't excited until you just said that.
When I said it like that.
Now you're like, oh yeah.
So I've got a gap in the day.
Sure.
So I will probably traditionally go see a movie in between that gap, and then it'll be time for us to get ready and do the 5K and stuff. So it's time for me to find a movie. Well, then it's like, well, Obadiah, you have Movie Pass. You have an unlimited smorgasbord of movies that you can sample.
Choices that you could go and with your monthly payment, it's free.
But here's the thing. If you haven't heard, Movie Pass, while they did over the weekend go back to their unlimited plan, you can't see a movie more than once. So by now, I would have probably used Movie Pass to see the Avengers at least twice, if not 3 times.
But instead, it gives you a thing. Oh, you've already seen this movie, so you can't use it again for that movie.
So that means that I'm looking at other movies that are coming out this weekend. And you guys would not believe, you wouldn't believe how many movies are coming out on Friday.
It's the big one.
It's...
Because you have Deadpool and... Well, is Deadpool this week?
No, Deadpool's next week.
Is that next week?
Yeah. No, but these are not... You got a little excited?
Oh, these aren't the big ones then? Maybe that is next week.
It's the opposite of
it's everything else.
The big ones.
It's the ones that could not go the same Friday as Avengers, so they picked today. Or they couldn't go next week then for other stuff.
I guess what I'm saying is that when you think there's nothing coming out, there is a slew of independent, you've never heard of it and never will films that are coming to theaters.
Well, that's what you're paying that monthly price for. You can learn about new movies.
I know. I can go see Champion or Born Guilty or anything. That's what it's called.
Oh,
that's not just
it's not just a clever title.
The Passion of Anna.
Uh-huh.
Mahuba. Another Kind of Wedding. Did I say Born Guilty?
Yeah, you did.
The Beast. Class Rank.
These are all Friday?
Higher Power. Hour of the Wolf. I Am Your Mom.
Are some of these like Netflix? releases, or are they all theater releases?
These are theaters. Terminal, Revenge, The Assassin's Code, The Seagull, Nothing to Lose. You see what I'm saying?
Never heard of any of these.
The only two that seem to me like, and I'm sorry, independent filmmakers everywhere, real movies, studio movies, are breaking in. And that's the one that actually looks pretty good. That's the one about the mom who, like, her kids are locked in the house and they're trying to get the money.
Oh, sure.
And she's like, it's a mom empowerment movie for Mother's Day weekend.
Which is that this weekend too?
That's this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's also Life of the Party, which is the Melissa McCarthy, I'm a mom and I'm going back to school this weekend.
I'm seeing a trend with mom movies.
See a theme?
They want you to take your mom to the movies for Mother's Day.
You got 2 mom movies.
That is so funny. I didn't even think about that.
Oh, yeah. I'm not much for comedy in the theater very often, but you might be able to get me to see Breaking In, or I guess just pay money to see the Avengers again.
Twice.
That's probably what's going to end up happening.
I'm sorry you're having a movie drama.
Well, you know what? It's its own drama, which is fun because it's like I'm in a movie.
Cleveland celebrates failure with a parade. We celebrate failure with the worst of the riot.
Can we shower a little bit? Can we just get clean?
What's wrong?
Well, I start my mornings with a shower.
Yes.
That's the way it is.
That's rule number 1.
And I, saw somebody the other day. They're like, well, if I ever take more than a 5-minute shower, I feel like I'm wasting water. Listen, are you familiar with the water cycle? The water falls down, and then there's just more that goes back up, and then it comes back down.
It depends on your area where you're at. And some people, some areas are more restrictive with it. We're in an area where they're not, so let us just have this.
I feel like if I take less than a 40-minute shower, then I'm saving too much shower.
Actually, you're better now that, you don't sleep in the shower anymore, so at least you're not wasting that water.
There was a time. Like a long period of time that I would do that. And I want you to know, I still, like, when I go to hotels, I'm still just like, turn the shower on and just lay down. Just going to lay down in the water.
You leave the room and you're like, no, I'm just letting it run.
What are you doing? No, I just do this. It's fine, whatever. Endless hot water.
It's not in the bill, even though it's probably built in the price of the room.
Well, if it's built in, then I might as well get my money's worth,
True.
Right? Might as well get out there. So I'm reading here, dermatologist Dr. James Jabert. He says that really what you should be doing is not taking showers in the morning. You really need to take it at night, Nikki. Yeah,
some people say that, but I don't take a shower to like you said, like it's not about getting clean in the morning.
Yeah, I'm not there. I don't even, do I use soap in the morning? Maybe,
it's
I don't know.
Early that you just need something to kind of wake you up.
Yep.
And that's the first line of defense when it comes to that. Like you have to have it.
Give me that shower.
So I don't care about his study. Why don't we ask him what time he gets up?
What a hurtful thing.
Do you think we should ask him that? What time is he getting up?
What a hurtful thing I just heard.
How much sleep did Doctor get?
I don't care about your study.
I don't care about it. We are the exception to the study.
Well, here's what he says. He says that the reasons you should shower at night are because, especially in the spring and the summer, your skin is most likely covered in allergens that may bother you. They might not, but they might. Also, a lot of the oils and stuff, you're sweating more, et cetera, et cetera.
So they say you want to wash it off in the evening. Fine. We'll take 2 showers. Fine.
That's fine, too.
Problem solved.
Man, there are plenty of days I'm taking 2, maybe 3 showers. I'm just...
A little cool-down shower at night and then a wake-up shower in the morning.
I'm in and out of there. It's no big deal. And again, I've had people say, like, well, that's a waste on your water bill. Listen, I have a job for a couple of reasons. I want hot water and I want air conditioning. So guess what I'm going to do?
So as long as the money is there to provide for that.
That's why I work. Like, what else are we working for? I want a nice car so you can turn the air conditioner on, right?
That's it.
All right. I want this, right? So you can have... No. That's what I'm working for. That's where I'm at. You keep those 2 things on and food, I guess. I'm good.
The Worst of the Riot box set is now available nowhere because we know you wouldn't want it anyway. It's The Worst of the Riot on RadioU.
You know what happens when you get a job? You have to go in and take a drug test most times before
Depends on where you're working at.
Yeah, it's not always going to happen, but a lot of places do ask for a drug test first. And that's what happened to Angelique. She was actually on her way down to the clinic to get a drug test. And while she was on her way, she stopped in at a 7-Eleven. And you know what? I love 7-Eleven. We don't have a 7-Eleven here.
Not within like the route of work.
It's not close. Like there are 7-Elevens around, but it's not like Florida where every 5 seconds you're at 7-Eleven. And the double gulp, I mean, like those are people that were paving a way for us. You know, a 64
Pioneers.
ounce. Yes. Yeah. Come on, 7-Eleven. I appreciate what you do with the double gulp. So Angelique stopped off. Now, we don't know if she was there for coffee or, you know, taquitos or a double. Like, I don't know what she was getting. But I do know that she had a little something she was microwaving.
Okay.
And she stopped in. She put her cup in the microwave. And the employee on duty there heard a loud popping sound and walked over. And there was a very signature smell in the area.
Oh, I know it. I can guess it. I can guess it.
I see that hand.
I can
see that hand, yeah.
Was she cooking meth? Was that the popping?
You know what, Nikki? This is going to be so much worse than that.
Is it? One of her 1 or 2s? Oh, is it?
Yeah, remember, as you'll recall, we were talking about what she was on her way to do when she stopped at the 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
She's on her way to take a drug test.
Well, was she thinking if she cooked it a little bit, it would cook the drugs out?
No, it's worse than that. Or maybe not. But what it comes down to is she would have failed the drug test, so she got some clean urine to bring with her. Well, when you go get a drug test, one of the things they test is the temperature of the urine.
So she had to warm it up?
You can't have the urine be room temperature. It's got to be body temperature. And that's one of the ways that they know, like, hey.
Gross.
So she stopped. She's like, well, this is room temperature. So she stopped there at the 7-Eleven to microwave the urine.
But she warmed it up.
Microwave the urine.
You never said that.
Don't miss the phrase, okay? That's the phrase that pays. Don't forget it. Microwave the urine.
So then that way it would help her pass the test.
Yes. So what ends up happening is the person working at 7-Eleven calls the police. And they track her down to the clinic where she's going to
take the drug test.
And she's just like, what are you guys talking about? I cleaned everything up. There was no problem.
Gross. Can you imagine you using them? Don't use the microwaves. Don't use them.
Well, see, I actually feel like that's the real moral of this story. I mean, I guess the obvious moral is don't do drugs. The less obvious moral is if you are doing drugs, don't use other people's urine. C1. Or stop doing drugs.
The other lesson is if you happen to use the microwaves at any convenience store, maybe you should not use them.
That right there. The lesson that is for me, and I think for Nikki, is don't use the microwaves at any convenience store. So, like, maybe you're stopping off at the BP,
and your
the Duchess
cold.
Station. You want to just
warm it up a bit.
Zap that coffee. You know, you could be not standing on lightning. You could be standing in urine.
What's worse than finding grounds in your coffee? Finding grounds in your coffee while listening to the Riot. It's the worst of the Riot on Radio U.
Did you go buy an Oculus GO or not?
I did not.
Why not?
Okay, when we talked about it on Thursday, I actually was way more interested than I ever have been. But
I know.
I feel like after the show, when we pulled back more layers of the onion, I feel like Eric made me doubt my want of it.
Okay, stop.
And
stop.
So
I already know.
I didn't even think about it the rest of the weekend.
Tell the truth.
What do you mean?
Tell the truth as to what was it? I was at the lunch.
No, it's not even the fact that it runs Android. It's not even that.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
Because to me, it's not even like an operating system, though I know it is. That's not even it at all. I promise. I just wanted to play games, and then when you said, "Oh, you might not even be able to do certain things with it,"
you can't play.
Sure.
You can't play Beat Saber on it,
which I wanted to play.
Which is what you wanted. I did not.
I wanted to play it.
I didn't realize that was a motivating factor until you said something at lunch, and I was like, "Oh no,
yeah,
sorry.
Can't do that.
Can't do that."
Well, I want to play Beat Saber, and then I realized, well, maybe I don't necessarily want to spend the evening wearing the Oculus GO or the Go, like the headset and stuff, if I want to watch Netflix. So I don't know. I just lost the steam on it.
See, it seems perfect to me, like, you know, once you're not when you're in the living room. I don't see that as a living room device, but for you, I see you in bed.
Yeah.
where you're like, I can finally not
just
talk to any of you.
rest and just watch something.
And you could completely shut out the world and lay flat on your bed and have someone holding the TV above your head.
Because you're wearing these, it's not even goggles. It's like a headset.
It's a headset.
For the Oculus Go.
It shuts out the world. You can't see anything else.
And then you can watch, Netflix or Hulu or... I'm just reading what the sheet says.
Right.
Hulu's not really what I would go for, but you can watch anything you want.
Hey, you know what? Complete side note, I've become like a Hulu guy. I got 3 or 4 things I'm watching on there right now.
Actually watching stuff on it.
I am.
It's fine.
And it's stuff that's only on Hulu, Nikki, so I have to watch it there. It's killing me.
So I think I'm good to wait. I decided maybe I'll just go to, a location that's selling them and try it on to see if I even like it.
I would really, really like to see what the Oculus Go is like. I don't want one per se. Like I got enough going on.
You have an Oculus Rift already. So.
I do. And so I am curious about I feel like if I traveled more, it would be this really cool thing to have, but I don't. So it's fine. I don't need one for the studio, and I don't need one for home.
Because you already have that. So it's just, you're going to have to give us some time to think if we want it.
Yeah. The other thing I will say is a lot of people think with virtual reality, you're completely shut off from the world. Unless you have the headphones just cranked up, you can still hear people.
Well, that was the other thing, too. You think they have Bluetooth or they don't have headphones because people
It doesn't come with headphones. There are speakers
that are built in so people will know what you're watching.
Unless there's a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack
that
where you can plug in.
That was the other issue.
And I believe that it also does Bluetooth headphones. Like I read people that said they were using Bluetooth headphones with it.
Okay, because I'd have to do that.
Yeah, but... when I texted you and asked you if you got one and the very tepid response, I was genuinely surprised because on Thursday you were like, when do they open tomorrow?
Let's go.
We're going to get this.
Some of the steam just got out and I just wasn't as motivated.
A balloon that deflated.
Which any retailer or company that's trying to sell something hates to hear that.
They don't want to hear that.
Because for one brief moment, I was very excited about it.
If we had been in the store at that moment.
You could have gotten me then. Yeah, that's it.
She would have bought it. Of course, with a return policy, it may have come back.
Dear Radio U, when I was a kid, my parents sent our dog to live on a farm in the country where he could run and play all day. I could ask them for the address if you need somewhere to send the Riot. It's the worst of the Riot on Radio U.
I said we were talking Avengers. I'm not going to lie to you about that. The Avengers set a record, Nikki.
I heard.
Oh, you did?
Was it the fastest to get to 1 billion?
Yeah. Man, a race that I'm still running, right?
I don't know if we'll ever get to that in our lifetime.
Fastest movie to ever make $1 billion worldwide, beating out the last Star Wars, The Force Awakens. It took it 12 days to make $1 billion. This took 11 days to make $1 billion.
11 days, that much money.
Which either means we're going to the movies more or we're paying more when we get there.
I think that it's a combination,
could
I think, for this particular movie.
Could be both. I was talking to somebody yesterday that's seen it 6 times, and it's been out for, 14 days. So that's
a lot.
Something.
That is.
I haven't even made it for a second round yet.
Yeah, but you've been busy.
I have been busy. So let's see, what was the other one? This now makes, Disney has released 17 movies that have made $1 billion. 17
That's
movies.
So much. I still want to know, actual, so if you take Avengers, how much was it to make? More importantly, how much was it to promote in such a big way? Because eventually, when we got close to the release of it, it was Avengers everywhere.
Well,
so I just want to know its full numbers.
I think you're right, because I think obviously $1 billion is a lot of money. But
if they're like, but we spent $1 billion just to get it out worldwide and promote it, when did they start making money on it?
I'll bet you they have at least $500 million in production and promotions. I remember this has been, like 4 years ago, but Batman v Superman, I remember reading that they spent over $300 million marketing that movie. Mm-hmm. But
That's the marketing.
Right. But I feel like The Avengers was not as marketed as that movie was. Because They knew they had a crappy movie and they had to market it a lot.
Avengers was just like, just the typical route.
Just, whatever, no big deal.
But to make $1 billion worldwide in 11 days, so now that's the fastest movie to do that.
So this also means that it has made more money if you just look at the individual movies. More money than Guardians of the Galaxy, Wonder Woman, Justice League. Like Justice League, it made more money on the first day than they did. X-Men Days of Futures Past, Batman v Superman. And so in 11 days, it's made more
than everything?
Than those have so far. So $605 million of that money, though, is in international stuff. And they just want to point out, just so you know, it hasn't opened in China yet.
Well, that'll bring in a big amount for them.
They have over 1 billion people in China. So it looks
I wonder why they've been waiting, because they really want to go over there and hit it like once they were done in other certain markets?
Well, a lot of people will say, and again, this is speculation and it's not even mine, but Nikki, if you'll rewind the show about an hour.
I know what you're going to say.
We were talking about a piracy problem in China.
Well, that had been true in the past. They say that if you release to certain markets, and in that market they might be more prone to piracy, then that can hurt your releases to other markets. Because, say, if you went to China first, you could then have it out in the market for people to see in a illegal way. But that's not necessarily true. The last couple of years, more movies have been releasing in international markets before the United States.
That happens a lot.
So, I mean, that kind of goes against that. And we stop piracy here, so we're not immune to it.
Oh, that's ridiculous. Come on.
Still happens here in theaters.
I'm sure we could download a copy of The Avengers somewhere if we wanted to.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's shaky cam, but I'm sure we could find you one if we went digging.
We can stabilize it.
Probably wouldn't even have to work that hard to find it.
If I just have someone hold up the TV at the same time while the shaky cam's going, it evens out. And so
their arms get tired.
Yeah, and it shakes at the same, and I think you're watching the movie then like you're almost in the movie theater.
Yep. I feel that. Like that. That makes sense to me.
My favorite part of the worst of the riot, when they shut up and the music starts. It's the worst of the riot on RadioU.
I just feel like what's missing today, like in this space, is macaroni and cheese.
Wouldn't that fill some of the holes of this Monday?
And I've been trying to eat healthier, so I've been focusing on bagels and cream cheese for breakfast.
And you could add something else.
And I just feel like, the cream cheese gives me the protein I need, and then the bagel gives me the carbs my body desires. And so it's a good mix. And so I see here that Einstein Brothers is now offering a mac and cheese bagel.
So think of, you like this particular bagel company, their Asiago bagel.
Oh, hello,
so it kind
Panera.
of looks a lot like that, but then on top, it has mac and cheese kind of baked into it.
Yeah, that's
and they're
exactly
using
right.
Annie's mac and cheese, in case that means anything to you.
Who is this Annie?
It's like the box mix. It's like Kraft, but it's the more organic kind.
Here's what it says. They teamed up with Annie's, the popular box mac brand that rivals Kraft.
Not quite.
No, it doesn't. And I understand that Kraft is made from like the least common, whatever, like the cheapest possible ingredients. It's also what makes it the best.
Well, at least you love it because, you had it when you were young, but maybe as an adult, you like this one better.
I reject that.
So you can get a bagel with the mac and cheese, like we said, baked on top. So you can have that. They also have a cheesy mac breakfast sandwich, which I thought sounded good.
Well, what's on that?
Bacon, eggs, and cheddar, and then the cheesy mac stuff on top.
Oh, my gosh.
Or for lunch, you can get a ham, Swiss cheese, lettuce, tomato, onion, and mayo, and then on the top is still the cheesy stuff on your bagel.
Yeah. Mac and cheese bagel for the win.
Why not?
I'll take that, Nikki.
Yes, we will. It's
I'll take that.
We used to have a pizza company nearby that did a mac and cheese pizza. That was good. That was really good.
I don't think it was, actually.
I liked it.
No, I think that you think you liked it.
No, I did. I used to love that pizza.
I think that
I'm remembering wrong?
When we went in there, we were like, it's great here. But I think that something inside us was broken.
It's because it was a pizza buffet. And, man, everything's better when it's a buffet.
I think, I'll give you this. I think for the first 2 weeks, maybe even a month.
It was good?
It was really good. But I'll tell you, when we get past that, I think that
I liked it more.
I don't think it was as good as we thought it was.
So if you're into the mac and cheese bagels from Einstein Brothers, those are a limited time only. So we'll see how long they last.
Did you see they do a lunch sandwich, too, with ham, Swiss, lettuce, tomato, onion, mayo on a cheesy mac? Mm-hmm. That's got to be like 3 days worth of calories, right?
They don't want you to look. It's maybe not an everyday food. But if they can get you to try to do it every other day, you're fine.
Dude, sign me up for that. That sounds delicious.
I forget how much I like mac and cheese. You just don't have it as much.
But now when we start talking about it, you're like,
I could do that.
Man, what is it, 49 cents for a box of mac and cheese? 99 cents? Come on. Let's get to cooking.
Once again, there just wasn't enough material for Best of the Riot. Actually, there wasn't any Best of the Riot at all. None. Zero. Look, it's all bad. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not bad. It's the worst. Radio U.
Nikki, what are you doing for vacation this summer?
I have not decided yet. I still need to go see some family in Southern California.
Okay.
And then I was toying around. We all have this, all right? But
toys? I have toys.
No, I want to take my mom to
go. Oh, my
go.
gosh, here we go.
To Waco, Texas for the Magnolia stuff. For the.
Is that where they tore down that compound?
No,
the Branch
for
Davidians?
No, it's not.
You want to go?
It is, but
it's
no.
a pilgrimage to the Branch Davidian site?
For the one people, the Chip and Joanna
Chip
gang.
and Joe?
Yeah, I want to take my mom there. So I would like to go there. And
go to their store.
And yes.
See their stuff.
Yeah, I thought that'd be fun.
Maybe catch a fleeting glimpse of Chip as he runs through.
Texas is so hot, like in the summer, so I don't know if I want to do that.
You should go first week of December.
Yeah, that might be better.
It actually might.
I think it would be. Anything's better than like a June or July. I'm not doing that.
Well, you know, it's interesting, that idea with your mom, but what if you took your mom to Massachusetts in the summer?
Massachusetts. I think I've driven part of that, but I've never. Yeah, I went through Boston, but
well, that time we took the Batmobile on the up into Maine,
our New England tour.
Yeah,
no, but New England stuff doesn't really scream to me vacation.
What does it scream to you?
I work there or something. Like if you lived there.
But you don't work there.
No, but like if a place of employment, like I had to move there for a job.
Yeah.
Or something, but it doesn't scream like I went to Massachusetts for vacation.
And all I got was this stupid T-shirt.
Doesn't seem like a spring break or a summer vacation spot.
Okay. Well, you know, the people in Massachusetts aren't real happy to hear you say that.
I'm sorry. I'm just not used to going there.
You're pretty judgmental.
I'm not judgmental. I'm just not
judgmental.
Traveling there.
Not good enough.
Not traveling.
Not good enough. All right. Well, I'm saying that you could take your mom, instead of going to the Chip and Joe place, why don't you go to a bed and breakfast in Fall River, Massachusetts?
What do they have there?
I know many of you immediately were like, wasn't that where the Lizzie Borden murders take place?
Oh, you're really selling it.
So get a load of this.
Is it?
Check this out. Yeah, it is.
It is? The house?
They're opening the Lizzie Borden Bed and Breakfast Museum.
Well, I'm not going there.
Why?
That'd be horrible to go to.
To be clear, this is not the house where the murders took place, but this is where Lizzie Borden lived after she was acquitted. So you can move well, you're not going to move in there.
Is this an Airbnb or someone's just bed and breakfast?
I mean, it's somebody's bed and breakfast. So like you get up and have an Axe-themed menu, something like that. Do you mind if I ask you some questions about this menu?
Get a little mini axe for your pancakes in the morning.
I'll be honest with you. I would be using the word axe all the time.
Oh, it's hot. But then I'd be embarrassed if I did. Like, I accidentally brought it up.
I accidentally axed you.
It's like, I'm so sorry.
My bad.
No, I wouldn't feel comfortable going there.
Well, okay. It's fine. You can go to Texas where it's going to be unbelievably hot and buy a bunch of crafts.
It sounds great. I actually think that sounds wonderful.
Look what they did with all these antiques. This is a distressed piece of shiplap.
Shiplap or death? Oh, which place do I want to stay at?
Well, one is about history, Nikki.
Uh-huh.
And you could get a book. You could read all about just the hysteria that gripped the nation with the Lizzie Borden trials, how gruesome the murders were, all the fallout that followed. I mean, this was OJ, but in the 1800s.
Yeah, I don't think I want to do that.
Big time stuff, Nikki.
All right, well, I'll put it on the list. Yeah, I have a bucket list. So maybe one day, and I don't think I'm taking my mom.
Stop. I don't want it on the bucket list. I want it on the summer list. I want you to talk
get
to
in
your
the car
mom
and get over to Massachusetts.
Be like, hey,
guess where we're going?
Wait until you hear what's happening.
Obi has booked us a wonderful weekend.
It's going to be fantastic. Fantastic.
All right, well, send me the link on that. I'll take a look at the museum.
So, look at that. They own both of the houses, but you can only stay in the one where the museum is.
Not the murder house?
Yeah. Can't stay in that one.
Murder. I don't want a vacation there. That's not my thing.
A nice Massachusetts town. Taking the countryside. Okay.
Where you'll love it so much you'll never want to leave.
Because you never get to leave.
Ever grab milk right out of the fridge to pour in your cereal, only to realize that your stupid roommate left an empty carton in the fridge? That emptiness is nothing compared to how you're about to feel. It's the worst of the riot on Radio U.
I shouldn't be surprised. We should never be surprised when people are yelling at each other online. But, it's the things that they yell about that often surprise me. Like smartwatches. Like, I've got a friend of mine who I actually have a couple of friends when they want to buy something, they're like, hey, is this a good one?
Well, they usually check with you.
Yeah, because sure. They're like, hey, you'll be able to figure out if this is a good one. So I wandered out yesterday looking at smartwatches, and a friend of mine was thinking about picking up a Samsung Gear Fit Pro 2. I mean, does it have...
You just can't call it something shorter, can we?
Is that enough words all thrown in there that we have to get all that in there?
There's several versions of the watches, so if you want to be specific about it, then sure.
So I spent some time reading up on this particular one and a couple of other ones, and I will have to say this. I feel like most of these product descriptions, and when you go through their specs and things they can do, I feel like they're actually trying to hide what they can't do rather than tell you what they can. So as you're looking through it, you're like, this information doesn't help me. Does it do this? And they're like, well, it does this. Yeah, but does it do that? Well, look at this other thing it does. Oh, my gosh. Are you serious?
Don't look over there.
What I did see, though, you've got an Apple Watch and you like it.
I do, yeah.
You like a lot like it?
It has the fit side to it. It has the function side to it. Yeah. Phone calls or emails or texts and stuff. But it's weird. You either like it or you don't.
So this one, it will do, and I mean, this is not anything overly special.
This is mostly
but Nikki,
just fit.
You tell me if this stuff appeals to you. What about your heart rate?
Yeah, that's important, especially if you're working out.
I know, but like just day to day, are you checking your heart rate?
Not normally. Sometimes the Apple Watch can fluctuate on how well it wants to read your heart rate, like during workouts and stuff.
Okay.
So, and I'd rather not know how stressed I am.
All right. And it supposedly will tell you how many calories you've burned. It doesn't know.
It doesn't know that.
It doesn't know. That's like the thing at the gym is like, you burned 1,500 calories after 5 minutes on our machine. It's like, come on.
But all of them do that.
Come on.
They think that's what you want to know.
Okay, well, this one has a built-in GPS. Do you have a built-in GPS? Or does it use the GPS on your phone?
It uses the phone. The newer ones use a built-in, but I don't pay for that. I just use my phone.
Okay. And it also, you can store music on it locally?
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay, that's the thing. And I don't know what else. But again, then I start looking at it and people, first off, it's like Android is trash. No, Android is good. And then it's like it works with this. This actually works with an iPhone, which I did not know. You download a Samsung Gear app onto your iPhone and it will...
You can still have it?
Yeah, it'll enable it to work with all these different things. But it's a contentious space. The smartwatch space is.
Well, anytime you go online for anything where you're trying to compare items, it's going to be contentious.
I want to live in a world, Nikki.
Not going to happen.
I want to live in a world where we aren't loyal to brands.
Nope, not going to happen.
I want us to stop being loyal to brands. I don't want us to define ourselves by our game console, our phone manufacturer, the car that we drive. I instead want us to talk about feature sets and what things actually do, and completely unbiased, take a look at an item and decide whether or not it works.
When that happens, that means the end of the world is here.
And we're
eating food out of buckets.
And we need to move to Branson.
And we need to move because
it's the safest place to live.
That's not going to happen anytime soon.
That's what we just saw.
And I almost feel comfortable knowing that we have the freedom to hate each other's companies that we use. It's nice if you take a step back at it.
Freedom of speech is fine. I'm not saying anything against it. I'm just saying that I want to live in a place where our freedom of speech is informed speech, where we're making smart decisions.
That's not America.
All right. Yeah, well, your Apple Watch sucks.
That's what I'm comfortable hearing. Come on.
Okay, all right.
Come on, that's nice.
We're back at it.
Leftovers from the most disgusting meal you've ever had. It's the worst of the riot on Radio U. Food Fight.
Joining us in the studio, the hero of the hour.
Yay, Chris!
Good morning, Chris. How are you, man?
Good morning, all.
How was the weekend?
Thank you for bringing in something today.
Oh, it was wonderful.
Yeah? I see that you went on an expedition.
Oh, went on an expedition to a Walmart, which is always an expedition
listen,
in itself.
That's dangerous, so let's not take away
And
from that at all.
entertaining.
Yeah. So what do you got?
So these are one of the 3 new flavors from Oreos, and I think you picked the one that we were looking forward to the most.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, so I'm walking down the aisle, and I see this thing just glowing. It says kettle corn.
Oreos.
Man, Chris, that's beautiful.
You know what? It's also filled with millet pieces.
It's supposed to taste
What is
like...
a millet? Is that like
it's
the
the
little
corn.
things that get stuck in your teeth all the time?
It's supposed to be like the kernel, you mean?
Yeah.
Of it. It's supposed to feel like you're having kettle corn with it. So it's
okay.
little
So
pieces
you're
of
going to
kettle
get all
corn.
the bad decisions at the end, too.
You're going to have
It's
everything.
nice.
So the other 2 new flavors...
Millet is a fast-growing cereal plant that is widely grown in warm countries and regions with poor soils. So,
which is why it's
so this
perfect
is
for an
poor.
Oreo.
okay.
Poor
So you
Oreos.
also have the cherry cola Oreos that have the Pop Rock sort of stuff in it. And then there's supposed to be a pina colada one. So then people can vote and submit their own suggestions for what they think might be a good Oreo flavor.
All right, Chris.
And
let's
them
get,
out.
let's
All right,
get
here
to
we go,
passing
here we
these
go, here we go.
around.
Try it. We've also, at least on my side of the table, have found a love for the vanilla
wow.
cookie. So I'm excited that they went with the vanilla
Wow.
cookie.
Just
Is it kettle
opening
corn?
it.
Strong smell?
It's there. It is there. Here you
All
go,
right.
Nikki. Come
Thank
on.
you.
Grab one.
All right. I'm not grabbing 2. I'm just grabbing 1.
All right. Let me see.
Oh, wow. It really does smell like kettle corn. They did
hang on.
a very artificial job with that. Very good.
Very.
Okay, I really appreciate that phrase. A very artificial job.
Because you know that's what it is. It's,
Yeah, that's...
it's created in a
Grabs 2.
in a lab.
I'm throwing that out
Just
there.
in
Well,
case.
yeah, because well, Chris, here's what you got to do. First off, we take our initial bite.
Yes,
Okay.
and then we go from there to see maybe tasting the filling with it.
Just the cream. Mm-hmm. Okay. Just vanilla right now.
Vanilla cookie. Cream filling
Vanilla.
supposed to have the little bit of the millet pieces for the kettle corn.
That's all I'm getting. Just vanilla.
Vanilla.
A lot of vanilla.
Gotta wait. Let's see if it comes through.
Sometimes in the after kick with it. It's not
Weird-
bad though.
okay.
I like vanilla. So
Weird coating on my tongue.
that's the
Is that the millet?
that's the inside.
Okay, honestly,
And then at the end, you get a little bit of
there
leftover
it is.
taste of the kettle corn in your mouth.
just
you do
a
get
little
a
bit,
leftover.
but I feel like my tongue is coated as if I had just eaten kettle corn. I'm serious.
Well,
All
just
right.
have the inside filling's
As
very
I just
greasy.
eat the cream.
It's a very greasy inside filling, but good. I mean, people said that they weren't really as favorable towards the cherry cola flavor, but this one,
This is much more. You're definitely getting way more of the flavor. You know, if you skip the cookie,
yeah.
No, yeah. Cream
very
only,
buttery,
you get it.
very
Yes.
buttery, like holy butter
Yeah.
Batman.
Only
And that
Butterball.
artificial butter that you get from the popcorn.
Yeah, and
At the
I'm
movie
telling
theater.
you, my tongue and the inside of my mouth is
It's coated?
in like the weirdest way possible.
Well, let's see how
waterproof.
your throat is later today. Maybe things will feel good.
It's a good throat coat.
It's a very nice one. All
I haven't been feeling well. Started eating these Oreos. Now I can talk for days.
right, so what do you say, yay or nay?
Nay.
Nay?
Well,
Chris?
okay, yay meaning they taste fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But nay on the, they don't really taste like kettle
Not
corn
enough
popcorn.
kettle corn.
Yeah, and I just feel like, you know, again, if we're in the Oreo aisle, there are a few flavors that I would favor over this kettle corn or Oreo. But
I
I
feel
mean,
like they don't spend enough time for the flavors that come out for limited, like trying to make it a flavor we would want to always be there. It's just, oh, you try it one time and it's good enough.
good enough.
Good enough?
You know, Nikki,
It's good enough.
I'll take that review.
Well, that concludes your
Good
Riot
enough.
Food Fight. We'll try to find the cherry cola ones and the pina colada ones, and if so, we'll try those too.
I feel like we need to just try the regular one day.
Oh, a regular Oreo?
What does a regular Oreo
I don't
taste
even
like?
remember what a regular
What
Oreo
does that
tastes
taste like?
No, I think that was a limited time, and I don't think they carry those anymore. So, not anymore.
Chris is actually making a good point.
Don't you wish that you could have Nikki with you all the time? You can. The Worst of the Riot is a daily podcast. Subscribe now through iTunes, Google Play, or the RadioU app.
This guy, what's his name? Where did he go? He's a school superintendent, Thomas Tremaglini. Thomas makes $150,000 a year.
Thomas should not be doing this.
I want to get it out there because it's the one fact that I keep thinking to myself, this guy makes $150,000 a year, and he is the district superintendent of Kenilworth School District in New Jersey. He was arrested at 5:50 a.m. last Monday, for public lewdness and defecation.
So basically, that if I remember correctly, the school had a problem with someone pooping at the school.
They say the people that work the grounds at this particular high school say that someone has been pooping on or near the track for months.
And they were trying to figure out.
They find it every day.
Who this was. And you're thinking, well, maybe it's a student, or I thought
a vagrant.
At first, like a teacher or something who was mad at something.
Somebody who at least worked or interacted with the school.
But they were very surprised when they found out that no, it was the superintendent. They caught him. He was the one.
Now, he is not the superintendent of this school district.
Mm-hmm.
He is a superintendent of another school district, but he lives 3 miles away.
From
this
one?
He would go out and go running every morning, and, running jostles things. So he took it upon himself to have a little moment every single morning there at the track.
I don't understand how someone could do that.
I don't either.
I have no idea. And this is not our first pooping story
it's
where
everywhere.
Someone is
Runners.
doing that out loud. I just have no idea.
Hey, listen, you run and you have occasion to go to the bathroom. My thing is maybe we could just, I don't know, can we put a porta potty out there?
I'm sure there are. If it's near the track, I'm sure there's bathrooms of some sorts. It's just sometimes runners or people maybe get a kick out of it.
You think that's what it has to be, that, right?
I think it does. And it goes deeper. There's something wrong.
He's like, being a superintendent's really hard work, despite the fact that I make $150,000 a year, which to Obadiah sounds like wealth untold. And
so the superintendent, though, he has not been fired. He's on a paid leave of absence, which hurts even more.
Well, and
they're saying that they can't really fire him.
I did a little looking. Well, here's the thing about being a superintendent. Couple things here. First off, he's contractually obligated to go on a leave of absence. Like when
vacation.
If he's on any kind of investigation,
sure.
That's the rules for his job.
But you're paid while you're being investigated.
Yes. The other thing is that as a superintendent, I would say it's highly likely that he is a contracted employee, and that means that unless, depending on what his contract says, I don't know. It's like, hey, if you face criminal charges, we can release you. It will depend. But they may even be in a position where they have to buy out his contract.
They're saying that because of state law prohibits, he cannot be fired because he has tenure protection during the life of his contract, which goes through June 30th of 2020. So he cannot really be fired. That includes a suspension without pay in the absence of indictment or tenure charges. So he's still good for now. He's there. But even though everybody knows it's him and he's probably humiliated, he still will probably stay in that position.
How can you, I don't know. I'd be getting a lawyer because it's one of those things where at some point, I would argue that this guy can't do that job. Because of what has happened, he is no longer able to function in a leadership role in that district.
This explains it. As a matter of law, someone like this cannot be fired. State law prohibits it because the contractual rights he has under the statute of it, everything that he has done and he faces charges for, do not rise to the level of indictment.
Right.
So it's not enough. To us, it should be enough. But we've all been told, it's very hard to fire someone in a teacher position or like that.
It all comes down to the fact that he has a contract.
Yes.
He's a contracted employee.
If he wasn't, then maybe so.
Wow.
There you go. So they're going to have more action later. There's a hearing on May 30th. But if you're like, who's this guy, the superintendent, the pooping by the track guy?
Okay, all right.
Everybody was talking about it over the weekend.
Let me ask you this question. All right. You and I
have no respect for someone who does that.
Okay. But what if you and I come in tomorrow morning and there's Michael's picture in the news everywhere? He's been picked up for pooping on the walking track near the studio.
I can't. I can't understand it. I cannot look at a person like that. I have no way to. My brain does not comprehend why someone would do it. And they got him on surveillance video. So,
to be honest with you, I think I would harass them so much they'd quit. That's what I think.
It would be the only way out.
Thanks for listening to the Worst of the Riot podcast. Make sure to check out The Riot weekday mornings from 6 to 9 Eastern on Radio U at RadioU.com.